This week's episode was brought to you by Marcus Talbot, Rainey AZ, and Randall. Thank you, Marcus Talbot, Rainey AZ, and Randall. It's with the generous support of listeners just like you that we at The Whole Rabbit get to keep brewing up giant frothy skull mugs full of protoplasmic banshee brain materials to vivify your neural brain meats every single week. If you'd like to help us keep turning spirits of the dead into invigorating breakfast beverages, or just hear the second half of the show, please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will get you not just access to our entire library of extended episodes available in convenient RSS feed format compatible with your podcast player of choice. I'll send you a 5x5 vinyl sticker of our cover art and the secret keys to our Discord server, where you can drink Banshee Bean Juice with us anytime, day or night. If that sounds like too much, please consider giving us a like, subscribe, share, or a review. We're a tiny show. You've no idea how much it helps. Have you ever been to the crossroads? This week, we approach the boundary between the living and the dead to visit Hekate, the Night Queen of Magick and the Guardian of Lost Souls. While her association with darkness, magic, and the dead is well known, we explore her ancient Phrygian origins, important overlaps with the Goddess Artemis, and the mythology of where she gained her dog and polecat companions. In the extended show, we discuss the Furies, her likely ancient Egyptian origins, and settle in for a reading of Crowley's Cry of the 27th Aethyr and associated commentaries about the goddess. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
I found out that tarantulas, when they poo, they can sometimes not clean themselves right, and they get a blocked anus, and their abdomen will swell, and they get really unhealthy, and they lose the hair on their abdomen, and they look like a non-furry tarantula.
So if a tarantula's butthole gets plugged up, they lose their hair.
Yeah, and die. So you have to kind of wipe your own tarantula's ass.
There's an epidemic, you're saying, of tarantulas with clogged buttholes, and they're in danger.
Well, not so much anymore because people are getting aware of it through my message, I guess. So we're on the road to recovery.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just go down to the crossroads to sell our soul for the ability to play the blues. Nay, we dig a really big hole first, drag a big black bull to the edge, and drain all of its sweet buffalo sauce into the pit, shouting over black smoke of its immolated body for the ghosts and hellhounds of the Night Queen to drag our enemies away, screaming hopelessly into the cold blackness of midnight, because this week we're discussing the Dweller of the Crossroads and Mother of the Gods, Hekate. I'm your host, Luke Madrid, the Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by the Lady of the Dog, Mari Campari-sama.
Bark, bark, whoa!
The Dweller at Death's Door, Malachor 5.
It smells like scorched engine oil here.
And the Persian polecat of serpent weaving, Hecate.
Hello.
I think I have a yokai in my house. It looks like one of those dust spirits from Spirited Away, the ones that feed the boiler room machine all the coal. They're like little black puffballs. I see them sometimes, only in my kitchen, and they look like they're a little floating ball of black, and then they like zip into the wall or they disappear. I've seen it a few times now. I'm a little spooked out.
Sounds like a ghastly, if you ask me.
You told me about this like just the other day, and then I think it was like a half hour later I saw one myself in my studio. It's like, what the hell?
It's like a wisp of black cotton candy.
But you're saying it looks like one of those cute ones.
Yeah.
Like mouse-sized.
But it doesn't skitter like a mouse. It just goes perfectly straight like a puff of dust.
It probably just smells you smoking weed.
Trying to get a puff.
Hey, I heard you were smoking some weed in here.
Go away, fairy. So as we'll discuss, Hekate probably has, in terms of supernatural deities, the longest resume ever. I thought we might invite her to the party using her invocation from the Greek magical papyri. Come, giant Hekate, Dion's guard, O Persia, Balbo Froen, dart shooter, unconquered Lydian, the one untamed. Sired nobly, torch-bearing guide who bends down, proud necks, Kore, hear, you who've parted gates of steel unbreakable, O Artemis, who too were once protectress, mighty one, mistress who burst forth from the earth, dog leader, all-tamer, crossroads goddess triple-headed, bringer of light, august virgin I call you, fawn slayer, crafty, O infernal one, and many-formed. Come, Hekate, goddess of three ways, who with your fire-breathing phantoms have allotted dreaded roads and harsh enchantments. Hekate, I call you. Far-darting Artemis, Persephone, Demeter, triple goddess who holds untiring flame to the dark. From toneless throats you send a dread sharp cry when you, O goddess, have raised an awful sound. Hearing your cry, all worldly things are shaken. The nether gates in Lethe's holy water, and primal chaos in the shining chasm of Tartaros. The lonely echo of roaring rivers, and the daimons through the world shudder at you. O blessed one, when they hear your dreaded voice, come here to me, goddess of night, beast slayer, in usher of my work, great initiator, quiet and frightful, having your meal amid the graves. Come here, she-wolf, mistress of night, and chthonic realms, holy black-clad mother of all who bore love. O heavenly one, harbor goddess, O nether one, goddess of depths eternal, goddess of darkness, keyholder, come to my sacrifices. Fulfill for me this task, and as I pray, give heed to me for this work. That's when the zombies come and devour your bull. Don't look, just walk away. Don't look over your shoulder, no matter what you hear. You might hear dogs, crows, flesh being torn from the bone, all kinds of things.
This invocation is from the Greek magical papyri, right?
Yes. So this is one place where she is associated with frogs. When it says Balbo Froen, I don't know if I'm saying it correct. It's kind of like saying Hoey Lady of the Frogs.
Woo!
Like Wild Party Frog Lady. Don't take my word for it. Check for yourself. So as you might expect, Hekate is a name that has long inspired fear and wonder. While obscure in recent centuries, the active worship of Hekate has continued uninterrupted since ancient times, a rare occurrence, especially for a goddess. Her prevalence amongst witch and wizard folk today is more than just a passing trend. Since mythic times, she's sponsored bloody sacrificial rites and championed both witches and the misunderstood. Known for her association with night, crossroads, the underworld, spirits of the dead, and most importantly, magic, her actual domain is far greater and encompassed, alongside the mysterious and dark, numerous aspects of just daily life. Because she represents like a feature rather than a mainstay of the Roman and Greek pantheons, it's easy to overlook how important she really was, serving as a bridge between the titans and gods, and between gods and mortals. Most often, she's depicted holding a pair of torches, keys, snakes, or in accompaniment of dogs. In the modern era, she's often depicted as a tripart goddess, which has continued as a popular motif since the late classical period. While the goddess Selene and Artemis Diana became in later periods more and more conflated with Hekate, Hekate is probably older than both, while other scholars think Artemis and Hekate began as different aspects of another older goddess. So if we think of Mount Olympus like a burger stand, and the pantheon like the various cheeseburgers and chicken sandwiches, Hecate's like the French fries. She's not the main item on the menu, but she's also simultaneously more prominent than most of the things that are on the menu, and the kids love her. It's not really a meal without Hekate being there.
That makes a lot of sense.
I like this analogy.
Yeah, because she encompasses a lot, just being a goddess of magic, that's literally like everything that's cool in the universe. But also the underworld, just like a fact of life, that Saturnian energy almost, that there's an inevitable end to something. She's often seen with a Phrygian cap on, which is a Mithraic cult symbol, to the god Mithras, who is a god who resurrected from the dead. So there's a lot of symbolism in her that just kind of keeps folding into itself, even if it's like a masculine energy. You might see the Statue of Liberty in her, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty is a pretty honest depiction of Hekate.
He's just holding one torch, but come on.
Evidence for her ancient worship has been found not only in Greece, but far away places like Sicily, southern Italy, Egypt, Libya, Turkey, Bulgaria, and Syria. So all over the ancient world, people worshipped Hekate. Some experts believe Hecate's worship began in Anatolia or Asia Minor, which is modern-day Turkey, specifically in Caria, which is on the western coast overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. These are also the Phrygian ancestral lands, which saw the worship of a central mother goddess, Cybele, who was seated upon a throne of two lions and had been depicted this way in her religious statuary for over 6,000 years. Often, Cybele is attended by Hermes and Hekate. When Greek settlers discovered her, they quickly imported her back to the mainland and became syncretized with Rhea, sometimes referred to as Rhea Hekate. Hekate was even honored with titles like Mother of the Gods, which evidenced her similitude with goddesses like Rhea and Cybele. If the Anatolians of the region can be said to be descended from ancient Minoan culture, the connection with bulls becomes clear. The Minoans developed writing and birthed legends
like King Minos, the Minotaur, and Theseus, founder of Athens.
I find the connection with Rhea really interesting because if I'm not mistaken, Rhea is also supposed to be like an equivalent to Ashura, and Ashura is also kind of a part of a triple goddess group.
And then, as I was mentioning, Mithras and the Phrygian cap, this region being where his cult kind of originated from, the Minotaur, the bull symbolism echoes the act of him slaying the bull, starting the new aeon.
And it's not uncommon for Hecate to be depicted as bull-headed or be referred to as the controller of bulls.
Right. She'll have the moon behind her head sometimes, which will look like bull horns.
The oldest literary appearance of Hecate is from Hesiod's Theogony. Hesiod finished his Theogony at 700 BC, making it the oldest known origin story for the universe and gods of Greek myth. It's only about 1,000 lines long. It's presented in epic dialect. The poetry of Hesiod's Theogony is a compilation of various local traditions and mythologies, which were only then beginning to crystallize and continue to evolve afterwards. In the Theogony, about halfway through, as the story switches in emphasis from titans to gods, Hecate appears as a friend and helper of Zeus. In terms of her titanic lineage, Hesiod identifies her as the child of Asteria and Perses, and the granddaughter of Coeus and Phoebe. Coeus, whose name means query, questioning, or intelligence, was a child of Uranus, the god of the sky, and Gaia, the earth. Phoebe, which means shining, was also the child of Uranus and Gaia, making the pair sister-brother consorts to each other. These two gave birth to Asteria, whose name means the starry one. Asteria is thought to have originated as an oracular goddess of dream divination and was worshipped on the ancient island of Delos under the name Brizo, which means slumber. In fact, Asteria is thought to have become the island Delos itself during a successful attempt to flee the unwanted advances of Zeus.
The one that got away.
Yeah, she had to become a friggin' island to get away from Zeus poking her.
Good job, Asteria. Good job.
It would be with her 3/4 cousin Perses, the god of destruction, who, in their union, created her only child, Hecate. But the story of Hecate's mom does not end there. Unable to have Asteria after she turns into the island Delos, Zeus directs his attention towards Leto, who becomes pregnant with divine twins, Apollo and Artemis. As usual, Zeus's wife, Hera, is quite upset, and hearing this, decrees that Leto be unable to give birth anywhere upon land, even sending the Pythos to harass and pursue her. Eventually, Asteria, as the island Delos, takes Leto in so she can give birth. Hera gives this a free pass because Delos Asteria did faithfully avoid her husband's advances in the past.
But against Asteria am I no wise angered for this sin, nor can I do her so unkindly as I should. For very wrongly has she done a favor to Leto. Howbeit I honor her exceedingly for that she did not desecrate my bed, but instead of Zeus, preferred the sea.
Well, that might just be an example to dudes that even if you're a god, can't have it. No is no. I think it's kind of interesting as well to think about Hecate being associated with the moon and how that's kind of like Yesod, right? And we always talk about it like that's like the dream world. And I think that's symbolically through her mother in dreams and prophetic visions and stuff. It just makes a lot of sense within Hecate's power because that's magic. Like the moon is like a gateway, like a portal to magic. The mother of the moon is concerned with dreams. So if the moon is magic, then like dreams are also in its domain. I'm tripping out on that.
Now, for one reason or another, Zeus was so smitten with Hecate. He was said to have honored her above all. She would inherit splendid gifts, portions of the earth and sea, and undiminished luxuries once afforded to Titans. She receives honors by the heavens and deathless gods alike, carrying great privilege in heaven, on earth, and in the sea. Furthermore, Hesiod wants us to know that Hecate is disposed of the ability to answer prayers of those who beseech her, whether it be in battle, sports, fishing, riding horses, or tending flocks. But it's ultimately her decision to help or to hinder.
I think this ties into one of the possible root words for her name origin being Hekon, which is will. And that means that particular kind of will is the voluntary, of your own accord, free will. So that makes sense. It's ultimately her decision to will it.
This aligns with two other things I found in my research. She holds keys, which means she has the ability to let you in or not. This corresponds with her being a goddess of boundaries. So once again, she can decide to let you in or not, which is inherently, I would say, a divine feminine quality. The ability to say yes or no, you may enter or you may not enter.
I totally agree with that, yeah.
If you think about that as in the woman's role in like creation, that's like dictating what exists and what doesn't exist. It's very powerful.
Which, as you just mentioned, would be the Kabbalistic power of that sphere of Yesod as the foundation. Everything has to funnel into that before it manifests. So it's like the last stopping place before things become things, essentially.
And then the voice, of this divine feminine saying, it being the deciding factor of whether it is or not going to go down into Malkuth, into existence. Very powerful, very scary.
And how?
Well, it would make sense that her father would be Perses, the Titan of Destruction, then.
It would.
Interestingly, Dad, or Perses, seems to have a thing for star gods and goddesses. His brother is a star god, and then later he hooks up with Andromeda, but that's for another story. He also hooks up with Eos, goddess of the dawn. Who wouldn't? He fathered Eos Phoros, a deity associated with the morning or the evening star, Venus, but also he fathered the Anemoi, which were the four winds, Boreas, Zephyrius, Notus, and Oiros. This makes Hekate a half-sister to the four winds and Venus Lucifer.
That sounds like a fun family.
Yeah.
I'd go to that family reunion.
It's like, don't get on their bad side because their father is a Titan of Destruction.
Now, this wouldn't be the last time that Zeus's infidelity toward Hera would affect Hekate. As the myth goes, Zeus took an interest in the beautiful and intelligent Alcmene, who, depending on who you ask, was a granddaughter to Hecate's dad, Perses. In other words, Alcmene is Hecate's niece. Hesiod describes Alcmene as the tallest, most beautiful woman with wisdom surpassed by no person born of mortal parents. It's said that her face and dark eyes were as charming as Aphrodite's, and that she honored her husband Amphitryon like no woman before her. Being a based trad wife, this made Zeus diamond hard, and he began to devise a plan to trick Alcmene into sleeping with him instead. After getting Helios to stop the sun from rising for 3 days, Zeus dons the disguise of Alcmene's husband, Amphitryon, and convinces her to sleep with him, impregnating her with demigod Hercules.
Hercules.
Now, as one might expect, this also enraged Zeus's wife Hera, who quickly went about making life hell for Alcmene and sent Aethyr, the goddess of childbirth, to magically seal her womb shut and prevent the birth of Hercules. This caused Alcmene great suffering, and she came close to dying before her handmaiden, Galinthius, had the great idea to trick Aethyr and tell her the child had already been safely born. This caused the goddess to uncross her legs and release her spell on Alcmene, who gave birth at once.
This sounds terrible.
Aethyr was so upset at Galinthius that she turned her into a polecat, which is a weasel, to take revenge upon her. Taking pity on Galinthius, Hecate adopted her in the aspect of the polecat to be her best friend and pet and helper in the underworld.
Polecats are pretty cute.
You know why they call them polecats?
Because they look like a pole.
And they behave like cats.
They kind of look like pole cats when they stand up straight. It's
like
a cat pole.
It's a tube of cat.
It's like if Pringles had sex with a cat.
That's so wrong.
All right.
In the ear,
Just
because that's how
leave it there.
polecats do it.
That's right.
That's why she turned Galinthius into one, so she'd get humped in the ear.
With words.
So the next story is of the Trojan queen Hekate. So Hecuba is the daughter of King Dymas of Phrygia and the wife of King Priam of Troy during the Trojan War. Hecuba had 19 children and was possessed of legendary beauty. Upon the fall of Troy, Queen Hecuba howled in pain and anguish at the loss of her beloved. She threw herself from a cliff overlooking the ocean to her death. Hecate, having felt sorry for her, turned her into a howling black dog and kept her as a familiar. Another version of this story tells us that after the fall of Troy, Queen Hecuba was taken as a captive for Odysseus. In her rage and despair at the loss of her king, she murders Odysseus and is in turn stoned by his followers. Her body is then transformed into a black dog by the gods, where she becomes the companion of Hecate.
I just have to say 19 kids is a lot of kids.
It's a lot of puppies.
That's why it's Trojan condoms. There's also like some variations on this, the second version that Mari said, where Hecuba was very saddened by the loss of her son as well. And she kills the king, and then they go to capture her and stone her. And like in frustration, she starts to accidentally growl or bark, and then she looks at her hands and her paws, and then like in a few seconds she's completely a dog, which helps her get away from the mob, and then she runs away, and then Hecate finds her and is like, you know what, I'll adopt you. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Takes in those strays.
Touching story. I would do the same.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's like ancient origins of furrydom for sure.
I want someone to make like an animated video of this and then put that sad Sarah McLachlan song over it.
In the arms of the angels.
Oh no, that's so scary now.
Oh, God.
Beautiful song.
That's the type of person Hecate is. If you get dicked badly enough, it's possible she'll take mercy on you when no one else will. That's what makes her kind of cool. So it's these two tales that establish both the dog and the polecat as the magical companions of Hecate in the Underworld.
Get it? Tails?
Tails.
Zing.
Two tails.
So as we've learned thus far, prior to 500 BC, she comes from this older Phrygian Kybele goddess. And then around 500 BC, she starts getting conflated with Selene and Artemis. And more as time goes on, she becomes a goddess of the underworld specifically. So around 500 BC, Greek poet Bacchylides refers to Hecate in fragment 1b as torch-bearing Hecate, holy daughter of the great-bosomed Nyx, who is the goddess of night. In the poetry of Sappho, from a little over 100 years earlier, her association with the night had already become well established, as she was heralded as the golden shining attendant of Aphrodite, because more often than not, sexual union tends to occur at night. Hecate is, after all, absent of a husband, a rare condition for a goddess of this time period, especially of this importance. By the time of the Argonautica, around 250 BC, the only epic to survive the Hellenistic period, Hecate is referred to as the Queen of Night, whose far-reaching power is lamented by Selene, the moon, who says,
"How many times have you, the Witch Medea, disorbed me with your incantations, making the night moonless, so that you might practice your beloved witchcraft undisturbed?"
Oh, that's kind of interesting, too, because usually we would think of a full moon as being the time to perform magic, but apparently here, it's the new moon when there is no moon shining.
she wants some privacy.
Yeah.
Agrippa says the new moon is when you start, and the full moon should be when it ends.
This basically is saying, like, the moonless night is because Selene, the goddess of the moon, has been disorbed, which means to be put out of orbit.
Yeah, Hecate could just, like, pluck the moon from the sky, dead of night, whenever she wants. And magicians can call upon her to do such intense acts.
I'm a believer. I'm going to get Hecate tattooed on me somewhere.
Just as a little side note, last night when I did my Hecate ritual, I couldn't see the moon at all.
Yeah, and it's also pretty full right now, so
There was no moon in sight last night for me.
maybe she just put some clouds up there. Like, moon.
Like, the light pollution in Vancouver isn't that bad.
A few years ago, when I did an offering to Hecate, I left food at a crossroads, didn't look back, etc. I had friends on Discord at the time, and the person I was talking to on the West Coast, the sun stayed in the sky for a long time after it was dark for me, and we're on the exact same coast. I still don't know how that happened. We're only a few hundred miles away. So, from my personal experience, I saw the day turn to night impossibly, right as I did my working. So pretty powerful goddess, if you ask me. People also tend to have like knocks and stuff happen when they work with Hecate. She has a reputation for delivering, and that much is consistent with Hesiod.
Maybe not delivering what exactly you want, but she delivers.
Yeah, she'll show up. Now, Medea shows up quite often from this point in Greek myth, always as a devotee and priestess of Hecate. A direct descendant of Helios and daughter of King Aethyr, Medea is mortal, but of divine lineage, and she aids her husband Jason with magic in retrieving the Golden Fleece, giving him ritual instructions that he must follow to successfully gain Hecate's favor.
Wait for the moment of midnight, and after bathing in an ever-running river, go out alone in somber clothes and dig a round pit in the earth. There, kill a ewe, and after heaping it upon a pyre over the pit, sacrifice it whole with a libation of honey from the hive and prayers to Hecate, Perses' only daughter. Then, when you have invoked the goddess duly, withdraw from the pyre, and do not be tempted to look behind you as you go, either by footfalls or the baying of hounds, or you may ruin everything and never meet your friends alive.
Don't look back, no matter what you hear.
Is she threatening us?
Medea is always a little threatening. So this is a classic example of Greek necromantic ritual. You dig a big hole, you spill some blood into it, chant some stuff, and be ready for the ghost to appear.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, that's gonna you.
Question mark, prophet?
Something's gonna happen.
And you want it to be dark outside so you could drag the bull. You don't want anyone to see that. Hey, where are you going with that bull?
I'm gonna go make some tacos real quick. I'll be right back.
Make me one.
with the bull.
Tacos for Hecate.
Head tacos.
Now, despite his success, the sequel see Jason abandon Medea for Creusa, daughter of King Creon. And then he banishes Medea from the realm. Medea responds by invoking Hecate to curse the couple before poisoning Creusa to death.
By the goddess I worship most of all, my chosen helper Hecate, who dwells in the inner chamber of my house. None of them shall pain my heart and smile at it. Bitter I will make their marriage, bitter Creon's marriage alliance, and bitter my banishment from the land.
It sounds like Medea has an nganga somewhere in her house, like the Greek version. I'm sorry if I shouldn't be using that word, but she has like a cauldron, it sounds like, where she has a spirit that lives in it. And she can whoop your ass with it.
That makes sense because it's almost like how the hearth is the heart of the home. And you can hold something dear in your heart, or people will also have altars in their home for their patron gods or saints. It's kind of the same thing.
Now, High Priestess Medea eventually becomes the wife of King Aegis, but she has to flee again after failing to convince him to kill his son, Theseus. Look, you want the witch to hang? Gotta kill your kid. That's the deal here.
Talk about an evil stepmother.
Well, myths differ. Her flight into the desert near modern Iran is claimed by old Greek scholars for the origin of the name Medes and its inhabitants as Medians. It's from the Medians that we get Magi, who according to Herodotus might either be referring to a tribe of Medians who were seen as like devious Iranian sorcerers, or just simply a wizard class of holy people without a specific geographical origin.
That's the real one. Those are the real ones.
In both cases, magic is emphasized, along with the association of foreigners from the desert wielding magic, etc.
So is this related to the Magi that come to visit Jesus with gifts? Like, sounds like the same kind of group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that class.
So over in their Greek mythologizing, they're like, oh yeah, because those are the children of Medea, the great Hekate witch.
Ah, I see.
If you really want to talk about Hekate, you got to look to her sister energy, Artemis, who's pretty important. So like Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, Hecate was also a chorotrophos, or a protector of children. Hecate's name is commonly believed to be a feminine version of an obscure epithet of Apollo and Artemis, Hekatos, which means far-darting one or worker from afar. She held other titles in common with Artemis, such as Soteria, which means savior, Enodia, which means in the road, and as we discussed earlier, Tauropolos, controller of bulls. She also had the title Kore for young woman, Parthenos for virgin, and Phosphoros, the light bearer.
Light bearer like Lucifer.
The real Lucifer. So while it might not satisfy popular conspiratorial mythology, this means most simply the real Lucifer, who's been worshipped by pagans for thousands of years, would have been in the form of the goddess Artemis and Hecate most specifically. Like, you're not going to go back in time and find Luciferians in red robes chanting over pentagrams to Satan and all that. This is what you're going to find. You're going to find the followers of Artemis and the followers of Hecate.
Like, kind of earthen goddesses.
Like, yeah, that's the real one.
So, just quick question. Did Artemis have a husband?
No, I don't think so.
See, these are wild women.
Well, because Artemis was also a virgin, wasn't she?
Yes, she's considered ever virginal. She doesn't know what it is to give birth, but she's always there to help.
These are like the ultimate wine ant goddesses.
Like, she's often paired with Apollo, who's her brother, but they're not married, as far as I know.
So there's definitely like a Lucifer connection to Hecate and then that's Venus, the morning star, also connected to Artemis, hunting.
And sometime her aspect of the Phosphoros, or the light bearer, is the person who holds the torch, which can lead you through the underworld, but it also represents the coming forth of something, like a baby being born, and the ability to protect this coming forth of coming into being, which is something we also discuss as related to the Kabbalistic sphere of Yesod as the foundation. It's the last stop before something emerges and comes into being.
And I think it's interesting that the Statue of Liberty is made out of copper and turned green, because those are all like Venus symbols.
Yeah, it's a lot of Venusian stuff going on. And then the torch too, it strikes me as like if she's a goddess of barriers and protection. If you think about it, what did early man have to protect themselves from predators? Is fire.
Yeah, the fire did represent the boundary point.
And repelled the darkness of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to push into the boundary points by taking the torch with you.
Right.
This also means that the Lady Liberty of Manhattan Island is a classical, pre-biblical depiction of Lucifer, which has seen an unbroken following for thousands of years. And then the fact that she's at the, quote, boundary point to our country, and the inscription is like, give me your hunger, you're poor, and you're sick. That's very Hekate vibes. Almost like maybe they did it on purpose.
And Ellis Island is right near there too. Like that's the port where we have immigrants come in on that coast.
And let's not forget Ghostbusters 2, where Lady Liberty is used to smash through the unbreakable barrier set up by Vigo. Not even the proton packs can get through, but Hekate can, with some white goo and some soul music. Most importantly,
It's souls.
You gotta have that soul music.
it's almost like Dan Aykroyd knows exactly what he's doing. So really, Lady Liberty is closer to the original Lucifer. The whole bat wings, pointy tail, sexy man chest, fallen angel routine is a newer, gender-bending fanfic of Lucifer, not the other way around. So for people who do call upon Lucifer and get positive results, you may have experienced Hekate or Artemis, at least possibly in part.
The times that I have had interactions with Lucifer, it was a very feminine, loving kind of thing that the first time it definitely caught me off guard. That is not what I was expecting.
And Artemis can be ferocious. She loves to have fun. Child games and children are sacred to her. She's a protector of children. The combination of Artemis and Hekate together, Artemis Hekate, were worshipped as one deity at Mount Kia, a full moon festival of May at Perses. Small cakes called amphiphontes, meaning shining on both sides, were offered to the goddess here. These cakes were decorated with small torches and composed part of the crossroad offerings, which were dedicated to Hekate.
So I'm pretty sure these are the same cakes that we brought up previously, like way back on the birthday episode. These are the cakes that inspired the modern birthday cake.
I was about to say that.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
And it's cool because it's like your birthday. So they're also protecting your birthright as you celebrate your annual, anniversary or whatever.
Which, with the Hekate link, it now makes a lot more sense as to why Satanists would say, like, the most Luciferic thing you can do is celebrate your birthday.
Oh.
Crowley says it too. It's one of the holidays in your whole year.
It's your holy day.
It's your day. Do it. Celebrate.
That's why Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate it, because they scared of Lucifer.
Because they know.
They don't know everything, though.
They know about Enochian and shit.
They're probably using it.
So between Artemis and Hekate, there were a shared grouping of symbols. These included bees, dogs, hunting bows, torches, serpents, the polis, the modius, and trees.
Sounds like Minecraft.
When you said bees, I just got Nicolas Cage, Wicker Man bees scene pop into my head.
You didn't go there. You didn't just go there.
I just think about Dr. Bees.
Bees for everyone.
Well, there's a Metal Gear Solid 3 boss called the Pain. He uses bees as a weapon. Don't get me started.
What's a modius?
It's a very tall hat, but it's kind of dainty and fun looking.
Oh, like a party hat.
Oh, the birthday party
Oh
stuff
my
continues. Yes, basically, yeah. Yeah, so celebrating the birthday with the cakes and the torches or blowing out the candles and then playing children's games, all stuff sacred to Artemis.
And pin the tail on the donkey.
Mm-hmm. What's a polos?
That's one of the hats.
Okay. So just dressing stupid and goofing around.
In the Circle for Hecate by Sarita d'Este, she says, based on available evidence, it is possible to speculate that they are aspects of the same earlier goddess who survived from the Greek Dark Ages into the Hellenic period, or that Hecate may have been an aspect of Artemis which gained popularity in its own right. Similarly, they may have been closely connected with an earlier cult. like that of Phrygian Great Mother. It might also be pure coincidence, and the various associations could be explained by similarities they held in common with subsequent syncretizing.
The friggin' Great Mother.
Yeah.
One reason Hecate was so well loved and endured for so long was because she was accessible and she was powerful. She was thought to be able to assist average people with average problems. Similarly to what we discussed of Santa Muerte, of modern day South America, Hecate could be trusted to help in commonplace happenings and even curse enemies. She was also unbeholden to a husband and understanding of issues that affected women, outsiders, and the disenfranchised. For instance, if one was killed unfairly or left unburied for some reason, Hecate could be propitiated to help lead the spirit of the deceased to a positive outcome in the afterlife. That way, they wouldn't have to wander forever. Being left unburied in the ancient Greek world was one of the worst things that could happen to you. So in this way, she's one of the original social justice warriors, a defender of the mistreated and forgotten.
That's something I definitely wanted to bring up, was that, like, why would a god like this have to exist, and she's not very complicated. She guides wandering souls to eternal peace. So if you have a pantheon of gods, you don't want to live in a universe that if you died on the roads, like, there's no hope for you. Like if some asshole killed you, it's like, yeah, my soul's going to wander forever. It's like, no, they kind of felt like we need a goddess energy to represent this powerful force of saving souls. So it makes sense for a goddess like her to exist.
Because let's say you got stabbed by a thief on the road and there were no burial rites for you. That meant in the afterlife, you would be stranded on the opposite shores of the river Styx, I believe it was, and you had no one to pay your boat toll to Charon to take you to the land of the dead. You just had to wander there like some thirsty ghost. It's basically what happens in Beetlejuice. In fact, their service worker in Beetlejuice is Juno, one of the many god forms that eventually becomes associated with Hecate. As mentioned earlier in Hesiod's Theogony, Hecate has a good reputation for responding to prayers. It's in her character description. She's one of the goddesses that delivers.
That's interesting because I keep explaining Yesod like a womb, like a delivery of existence or non-existence. And Gabriel is associated with the sphere of Yesod, which is like the moon to the earth, Malkuth. And given that Hecate has a lot of Venus and Aphrodite symbolism and is the morning star and somewhat like the true Lucifer, in my working with Gabriel, it's been very clear that it's a female energy. So it's kind of just like opening up my mind this whole week for research that like moon energy is very Luciferian, but the female version and not like Lucifer. If that makes sense.
In pentagram rituals, Gabriel is invoked in the West, which is traditionally considered the opening to the underworld, because that's where the sun goes at night. Now, as early as Hippocrates, Hekate Enodia is named as being associated with nocturnal attacks of ghosts and bad dreams. Under this name, she was also associated with the souls of the dead in witchcraft. Uniquely, dogs were sacrificed to Enodia, and it may also be through their fusion that dog sacrifices came to be known with Hecate as well.
And
Not vibing.
she's also associated with like a Cerberus then, because she's a three-headed goddess herself. And then the Cerberus is like a protector of the underworld, a hound of the underworld. So,
Yeah, and a black dog with 3 heads. Nice.
so the whole meaning of a triple dog dare might have some Hecate power behind it.
Oh.
Because if you double dog dare me, I won't do it. But if you say I triple dog dare you, I have to do it now.
Quadruple and quintuple is just flexing too hard.
What about 3 Dog Night?
Yeah.
So, like, 3 dogs qualifies as a pack, right? But 2 dogs, maybe not.
Yeah.
That's a pair. So you need a pack.
And dogs, if you got a pack of dogs and you're going to go out to hunt, you're going to scatter them out. They're pretty much going to be the boundaries. They're the sense of smell that they have and sound and all that stuff. It's surpassing yours. So your domain kind of becomes the domain of the pack of the dogs if you're the leader. Hecate's wild, man. She's dope.
And dogs, like, deliver you to the prey, and then once you kill it, they deliver the prey to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, remember what happens to poor old Actaeon when he accidentally spies Artemis with her nymphs.
He gets turned into a stag.
And then his dogs rip him to pieces.
What he gets for being a peeping Tom.
The association with Cerberus and blocking or guarding the boundary of the underworld makes some sense. Enodia means on the road, and This meant she was positioned to block and keep the entrance to either entire cities or towns, but also private domiciles, which oftentimes is where you keep your kids. So this emphasizes one of Hecate's most important areas of expertise: entryways, doors, passages, and especially boundaries. In this capacity, she was given the title of Atrotropeia, or one that turns away or protects.
As a goddess expected to avert harmful or destructive spirits from the house or city over which she stood guard, and to protect the individual as she or he passed through the dangerous liminal spaces, Hekate would naturally become known as the goddess who could also refuse to avert the demons or even drive them on against unfortunate individuals. And that's from Sarah Johnston from Restless Dead: Encounters Between the Living and the Dead in Ancient Greece.
So in a way, those are hellhounds. Those are demon dogs.
Yeah, the hellhounds are at her disposal, and she's the same one that keeps him out as the one who lets him in.
Dude, she's like the ultimate gatekeeper.
This could all just be a really big metaphor for Diamond Dogs and Metal Gear Solid being a cult to boss.
But aren't they kind of gatekeepers as well?
They aid the downtrodden and the misfortunate and the people who are being abused by the bigger systems at play, and then they also take care of animals.
Ghostbusters 1, there's the 2 dogs and the chick that are like opening the portal.
It just makes me think of the moon card and the Rider-Waite tarot deck with the dog and the wolf.
Yeah, and then wolves have the association with the moon. Very interesting.
Yeah, and then you have the, Yesod is the moon.
All right, so we already discussed how in Ghostbusters 2, they use a giant Hekate torchbearer to break through the boundaries that Vigo has created around the art museum. To protect a child, no doubt, okay? Now, if we think back to the first Ghostbusters, what we were just talking about, what's the form of the destroyer? Do you guys remember?
Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man.
Yes, the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man, or perhaps the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man is symbolic of the great old Phrygian goddess and the Venus of Willendorf statues that go all the way back to ancient Sumeria.
Okay, yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's a very old archaeological finding of like this voluptuous woman goddess Venus thing.
They really do have the same kind of silhouette, the Venus of Willendorf and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
So Kai Bali, when I was saying that her stuff is 6,000 years old, she was depicted as this big, chunky lady that was sitting on a big throne. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Voluptuous, squishy.
So in both films, there are overt references to that same goddess, strangely.
And it makes sense because Hekate controls demons and ghosts and your soul when you die.
And how do they close the gate? How do they do that?
They cross the streams.
I gotta cross the streams.
Oh, snap.
Oh, the
crossroads.
crossroads.
Bum, bum, bum.
Now, if you'd like to hear more about Hecate's ancient origin, leading all the way back, of course, to ancient Egypt, we're going to talk a little bit about the Furies and, of course, Aleister Crowley, but also the ancient Gnostics. If you'd like to hear the whole show, please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will get you access to our entire library of extended shows, more than doubling the content of The Whole Rabbit. I'll send you a 5x5 high-quality vinyl sticker of our cover art at no additional charge, and the secret keys to our Discord server, where you can ask us ookity-spookity questions about Great Mother Goddesses pretty much anytime you have the moment to type out your thoughts on your telephone. Thank you, everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew, pew, pew.